I thought we were going to have to wait longer, sorry. I'll get it right. Okay, so I just want to welcome everybody here. It's fantastic to have you all here today. And as you know, my name is Alex Halliday. I've been here for a few years, and I'd like to welcome all of you to Columbia Climate School's 2023 Class Day Ceremony. I especially want to welcome our graduates. Our graduates have challenged themselves, each other, and the climate school to think creatively. Sorry, I didn't mean that in a negative way, okay? That's being positive. You should be challenging them. Act with intention and refuse to accept the status quo, which is great. Today marks the completion of your studies at the climate school, so well done. The climate crisis and the world needs new leaders, and you are those new leaders. I also want to offer a very special welcome to the families, friends, and others who helped our graduates get to this great point in their lives, culminating in this momentous occasion. So let's have a round of applause for the families and everybody else. I'm joined today on stage by my fellow deans, program co-directors from whom you will hear, and some of our climate school faculty. Lastly, I'd like to extend a particularly warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Congressman Jamaal Bowman. And also our student speaker, Johan Lopez. From whom you will hear. I want to start just today by just saying a few things about three things. One, climate. Second thing is climate schools. And the third thing is climate graduates. Climate, as you know, is the most all-encompassing of problems. It is not just about the science of global temperature rise, it's also about the solutions for society. In fact, that is the thing that's mainly preoccupying people right now, involving ethics, law, policy, and of course, technological revolutions and innovation. We need innovators like never before, both those who are willing to have a go and try new things, and those who recognize that they need to support those kind of activities to deal with the climate crisis. And climate is very complicated. For example, we need to mitigate carbon emissions, destroying our environment and biosphere, that are destroying our environment and biosphere, but at the same time, find ways to provide alternative energy that is affordable and secure for all. Climate is about reforestation and changing agricultural land use, at the same time as many people urgently need food and water security as basic human rights. Climate involves the switch to technologies for renewable energy, when this astonishing transition requires massive new carbon-intensive infrastructure, and the heavy extraction of key raw materials. So this is complicated. It involves many difficult and complex problems, not to mention political minefields. Just in this past year, of course, to make things even harder, the world has witnessed the sinister weaponizing of energy by Russia. But climate also is a really good news story. And we are here to celebrate, and we can also look out with a degree of optimism. Innovation, private investment, federal funding, and regulation are leading to growth in urgently needed renewable technologies, infrastructure, and jobs. And by switching to renewables, we are cleaning up our cities, and we are improving the health of our children. And we can rewild the richness and diversity of a vibrant biosphere. We can really do this. There is time to do this. We have to act now, but we can do this. And as we develop a more diverse, clean, and sustainable energy mix, we can think about how to use this to create a more energy secure future going forward. And the word future is key. This is the biggest intergenerational human rights issue the world has ever faced. And it will exacerbate inequalities, and it'll make things very hard for people who are already suffering from inequities in society. So we think about what's happening in New York, but actually you need to think about what's happening in the tropics and how communities there are going to be so badly influenced. And this is why we need climate graduates and why we need climate schools. So let me say a little bit about climate schools. There aren't that many of them. Oxford, where I was before, prides itself on being old, about 900 years old, as though being old is best. Well, if that's the case, we at Columbia created the very first climate school, which makes us the very oldest climate school in America. Perhaps globally, we're not sure. And we have a mission to educate and empower future leaders, such as yourselves, to help the world. This incredibly complex and hard subject called climate requires a new kind of interdisciplinary working and thinking like no other topic. That's why we've had to create a new school for it. Climate provides the ultimate example of how people need to think and act differently and work together in a more sustainable fashion, learning to live with this wonderful but changing planet, its people and its biosphere, so that we all have a better, safer, and healthier future. Progress requires alert and creative minds who can think, analyze, and solve problems with both social science and natural science, because that's how complex the problems are, which is you. This is where you all come in. This is why we created a new kind of school with new kinds of curricula and new kinds of graduates. So let me finish by just saying a little bit about climate school graduates. You are leaving here to build your careers. I challenge you to use your knowledge and skills to create change in whatever ways you can. Whether you work in policy, research, innovative startups, advocacy, or major corporations, any field, you have the power to make a difference. Stay engaged with the issues, still learning and creating. Don't stop with this degree. You should also stay in touch with each other because it's a complicated problem. We need to work on this together. Cultivate a sense of community and the sharing of your amazing ideas and those creative solutions that we greatly need to tackle this crisis. And always think about justice, centering on the voices and experiences of those most affected by climate change and working collaboratively with them to create solutions. In part because we have to, and in part because we will learn from those most experienced in dealing with climate impacts. So we will learn from other people. So I want you to leave Columbia and its optimistic educators and researchers as new optimistic alumni to begin your critical work in the world, equipped with an understanding of how the climate system works and the challenges it brings, but also equipped with the creativity and skills to develop innovative solutions. You are going to do great things. Last year at commencement, which is next week, but last year I quoted Shakespeare, and some people clearly questioned the relevance of 450-year-old words from the great bard. I disagree, of course, but this year I thought I would quote from someone far more profound and close to home, George Clooney. So, or rather George Clooney's father. So in closing, he apparently gave the best advice of his life to his son when he said, "Whatever you do, don't wake up at 65 years old and think about what you should have done with your life." Just remember that. This is really important. Go make it happen now. Congratulations again on your terrific achievement, and I really look forward to seeing and hearing about the impact you're going to make in the world. Thank you very much.
I want to work in climate and mental health. I want to raise awareness about the ways people experience the climate and how their feelings and emotions about it are valid.
I'm interested in working in climate change and food security. I would really love to keep researching the ways that climate change will impact our food systems in the future.
I want to work in climate and anticipatory action for disaster resilience.
Employing ethnographic research methods and archaeological research methods at the site of natural disasters, and just really working with people to kind of piece together their lives and their stories in the aftermath of a crisis.
Yeah, I'm passionate about climate and policy, and I want to help build effective and creative climate policies that are rooted in science and justice.
I want to work in climate and governance. I really want to focus on addressing public health crises within New York City and focus on how adapting to climate change also would have positive health impact.
I'm interested in climate and oceanography, how we can preserve and also rehabilitate coastal environments to sequester carbon.
So I'm looking to work in climate and the arts. I'm generally interested in how I can use my knowledge of climate science with an artistic lens to confront the climate crisis.
I would like to work in climate and consulting. I want to provide more suggestions to certain company or organization based on what we learned.
I would like to work on climate mitigation. I really want to work in the carbon dioxide removal space and seeing where private sector funding can really finance a lot of these mitigation strategies.
Yeah, I hope to work in climate and children policies. After my experience here at climate school, I know there's a connection, and that's not only limited to this child and climate change.
I really want to work in climate and innovation, where the real action meets the policy changes, where the tech and science intersects with the real action on the ground.
Little costume issues here. Great to see this video, but it seems to me wonderful to hear the voices. But I realize that you came to New York, and within a year, you are starring in a production in a theater on Broadway right now. This is Act One. We're up here. You'll be. Those of you who are the grads will actually get your time under the lights in the stage, but there's going to be an audience here. And it's, in a way, I'm struck also how you're sitting here, you're all wearing the same clothes, you're sitting in rows, but I'm struck also how you're individuals. You found your own way to the climate school. There were things that you had a journey that you realized that you wanted to work on the climate crisis, that was the most important thing that you could do. And not too lucky with the props either, but let's see how it goes. And this journey brought you together here for a year, this intense year, many courses, the core courses that you all took together, the electives that you chose among. You acquired knowledge, skills with a lot of work, those lectures, the homeworks, the labs, the projects, the quizzes. You went through all of those, so many long nights preparing, and the knowledge and skills that you have for that. There's the hard work that you did, but I also want to give a shout out to the crew that, I don't know who maybe the production assistants for this show, Carrie, Gerald, Hannah, Yana, Natalie, Justine, Alfred, Jim, Cynthia, all these people. So you had this year together, and now you're in a way dispersing. You're beginning your individual journeys. You're going to pick, in the summer you'll have different internships and capstones. You'll go to different jobs, but there'll be things that you keep you together. You're always going to be part of the community of climate and society. You'll have had the journey that brought you here. You're going to have the commitment to climate change. You're going to have the memories of the year together. And those are strong things that you share. I want to say that there's one more thing that you're going to share too. You're going to be part of the community of alumni. You've met alumni as speakers, as instructors, as mentors, and now you are becoming alumni. You'll be able to give back to future classes of climate and society students. And it's very much what Alex is saying, this web, this community of climate and society is something that you're part of. There's important work you're each going to do individually. I want to say that it's important that it's work we can only do if we do it together. Congratulations to you.
Hello, everyone. I feel it's kind of too quiet. So yeah, it's so exciting for me to be here today to celebrate with all of you, graduates as well as parents, family members, friends. I'd like to offer first my heartfelt congratulations to the graduates of the second class of the Climate and Society program within the Columbia Climate School. And you all did it. So you've worked very hard, and you should be very, very proud of what you've achieved. My congratulations also goes to all the family members, friends who supported you all throughout this journey. As co-director of the program, and I'm also a faculty member teaching the course in the program, I've had the pleasure of watching you grow and develop over the past year. I've seen you overcome challenges, take risks, and push yourselves outside of your comfort zones. I know you all didn't like our programming, but you did it. You all did it. You've demonstrated a remarkable level of dedication and commitment, and it has been an absolute joy for me to be part of your journey here. Each of you took, as Ben already mentioned, a personal journey to come to the climate school, to find your path to learn and fight the climate crisis here with us. Now, as graduates of the program, you have the skills and knowledge to make a real difference in this fight. Whether you go on to work in renewable energy, I was very moved to watch that nice video. You all look terrific. Whether you're working in renewable energy, conservation, sustainable finance, or policy, many of you will probably work on many other different fields, you have the power to shape a better future for generations to come. It's not anything that you can always say for any field. I think you do have that here. Now, in addition to the academic skills you learned in the program, I hope that you will also carry with you the sense of community and collaboration you fostered here. And as Alex and Ben both mentioned, community is extremely important in the fight to the climate crisis. So you've learned the importance of working together, supporting one another, and being a part of something bigger than yourselves. These will serve you well as you continue your journey into the future. As we all know, the problem of climate change is just so big, and it really takes the entire world to work together. I can't wait to see how much you can do to make the world a better place for everyone. And you've already heard mentioned again and again, climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a social justice issue. And the impact of climate change is felt most acutely by marginalized communities who often have the fewest resources to adapt and respond. I encourage you to think about the role that you can play in creating a more just and a sustainable future. Let us all work together to build a world that is not only livable, but equitable and just for all. Once again, congratulations on your graduation and best of luck for all your future endeavors. Now, the best part. It's my distinct pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Johan Lopez. Johan, wait, I have more to say. Johan is a first-generation immigrant, having grown up in Colombia and the United States. He is a graduate of Georgetown University with a bachelor in liberal arts and a concentration in public policy. He has several years of experience in both the private and public sectors in various climate-related initiatives, including ESG investing and sustainable finance. Johan is passionate about sustainability and believes the climate crisis must be addressed by stakeholders with diverse perspectives and lived experiences. Johan recently joined the Morgan Stanley Global Sustainability Office as Director of Partnerships and Capacity Building within the Institute for Sustainable Investing. Prior to this, Johan also served as a network regional coordinator at the United Nations Environmental Program for Finance Initiative. Now, please join me in welcoming Johan to the podium.
Thank you very much for such a kind introduction. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, faculty, Dean Holliday, Ramo, Board of Congressman Bowman, fellow graduates, family and family, friends and family. Sorry. Dear Climate Society 2023 cohort, we did it. While we proudly graduate from an exceptional program that has provided us with the necessary skills, knowledge, and the perspective on how to tackle one of the most pressing issues in our times, we're still working on the fight against climate change. The science is clear. The Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, the IPCC, shows us that the risk to the planet and society compounds exponentially if we fail to take urgent action. Failure is not an option. As we celebrate our achievements and reflect on our journey, let us remember why we decided to join this program. Climate change is not a distant threat, but a present one and a growing one, and it's not just an environmental, but a societal, economic, and political issue that affects every aspect of our lives. The evidence that climate change is overwhelming and is impacting already is feeling worldwide, from rising sea levels to extreme weather events, biodiversity loss, and food insecurity. The consequences to our actions are key. The question that arises is, what can we, as graduates from the Columbia Climate School, can do about it? How can we use our knowledge, skills, degrees to halt climate change and create a sustainable future for all? The answer lies in our social responsibility as climate leaders and agents of change. Social responsibility is the recognition that actions have consequences for others, and that the planet that we have, and that we have a duty to act as our best interests for the society and environment. As climate experts, we have a unique responsibility to use our knowledge to bring the difference to the world. New health shows that the climate change will cause 3.4 million deaths by the end of the century. This is more than the entire Paris and Washington, D.C. population combined. We must use our degrees toward equitable and inclusive solutions that prioritize the needs of vulnerable and marginalized communities. Our social responsibility as climate leaders requires us to use our degrees and knowledge as drivers of change. We know that having the technical and scientific understanding is not enough. We must also have the leadership, communication, and collaboration skills to translate knowledge into action. Every job is a climate job. And as an alumni of one of the greatest institutions in the world, we must act as a compass to solve the climate crisis. We must engage with diverse stakeholders, including policymakers, industry leaders, civil society, and communities to develop and implement effective solutions that address climate change root causes. We all came to this program with a common urgency of devoting our lives to solving this crisis. It is up to our generation to continue advocating for climate change action and policy change. We have learned that climate change policy and science are the most powerful and strong tools to addressing climate change. These actions together will drive the transition to a low-carbon economy and promote sustainable development while protecting the rights of the most vulnerable. As graduates of Columbia Climate School, we have the expertise, credibility to inform and shape climate policy at all levels, from local, regional, and global. We can use our research, analysis, and communication skills to provide evidence-based solutions that influence decision makers and mobilize public support to climate action. We know that carbon dioxide emissions must be reduced by 45% by 2030, and we need to reach net zero by 2050 to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. This means that we need urgent and efficient change to reduce deforestation, promote sustainable land use, and the shift toward low-carbon transportation. As climate leaders, we must advocate for policies aligned with the latest scientific evidence and prioritize the long-term interests to society and the environment. As Prime Minister Mia Mottley of Barbados told us, a 2 degrees Celsius rise in the global temperature will be a death sentence to the island and coastal communities. We understand that emerging economies and marginalized communities are particularly vulnerable to climate change. Today, we say see you soon, since I'm sure that we will continue working together and our journey starts here. And while we'll find very difficult obstacles to overcome, we must not give up. We are fighting climate change as our lives depend on it. Thank you. Gracias.
My view of 2040 is pretty uncertain at the moment. I feel like we have a lot of different routes that we can take, and obviously I'm hoping for the one that prioritizes resilience and focusing on historically marginalized communities for really robust adaptation.
I'm definitely hoping that 2040 will have just a lot more renewable energy production, far less fossil fuels in our politics for just preserving the planet, but also preserving human rights and dignity both within this country but all around the planet.
I think right now, even in 2023, people are just starting to get the message that climate is extremely important to so many different industries, governments, fields. And so I think by 2040, we'll be in a place where people really take climate seriously and look for climate solutions in all sorts of places that maybe they're not looking for right now.
To me, 2040 looks like healing, not only for people, but also for the planet. I think that we're gonna see people coming together.
I hope that we begin to shift our mindsets from extractive mindsets of trying to get as much as we can out of this earth and shifting more to how we can protect the earth and protect the vulnerable people.
It's a very interesting time. 2040 looks very promising, provided all the policymakers and the scientific community works together. There are so many actions to happen. The time is also ticking away very fast. It looks promising, it looks exciting, but it is also very challenging.
We're gonna have to change, not just the people in positions of power, but everyone. Everyone needs to be working together to combat climate change. Hopefully, a time in our lives where we'll be learning how to work together.
This is really inspiring, just hearing the students speak, isn't it? It is my great honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Congressman Jamaal Bowman. Congressman Bowman represents New York's 16th district, which includes Northern Bronx and parts of Westchester County, including Yonkers, New Rochelle, and Mount Vernon. He was born and raised in New York City, spending his early years in public housing and rent-controlled apartments. He was raised by his mother, who supported them with her post office worker's salary. After graduating from the University of New Haven, Congressman Bowman began his career as a crisis intervention teacher in a Bronx public school and went on to earn a master's degree in guidance counseling from Mercy College and a doctorate in education from Manhattanville College. In 2009, he went on to found Cornerstone Academy for Social Action, a Bronx middle school focused on unlocking the natural brilliance of all children through a holistic curriculum where he served as principal for a decade. Congressman Bowman has brought investment to his district to support schools, climate change resiliency, elder care, voter rights, and civil rights. He is a wonderful speaker to recognize and celebrate your accomplishments at the climate score. An engaging leader, he inspires us all to create our own journeys and our future endeavors. Please join me in welcoming Congressman Bowman.
Good morning, everyone. How y'all doing? Congratulations! You got it done! It was only a one-year program, though. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of light for y'all. Y'all could do better than that. It's really a pleasure and honor to be here. Thank you so much to the Columbia Climate School for inviting me and allowing me to say a few words. Huge shout out to the faculty and staff for the work that you put in to help us get to this point. And a huge shout out to the parents and families who put your money where your mouth was to make sure you supported your children to be in this position. So I agree with everything that has been said thus far, but I want to underscore a few things. First of all, that last video was amazing and visionary and optimistic. And I know that video tells me that you all have not spent much time in Washington. Because if you had, y'all be talking way different than what I saw on that video. But I want to underscore a few things. Yes, we need climate scientists. Yes, we need climate technologists. We need climate engineers, architects, artists, and mathematicians. But we also need climate revolutionaries. Because we are living in a revolutionary moment in American and world history. We're still dealing with a global pandemic. It is not as bad now as it was, but it was horrific. We lost over 1 million lives due to COVID, and we continue to lose lives every day. We had an insurrection on January 6, 2021, the first time in U.S. history that U.S. citizens attacked its own capital. The climate catastrophe that we are living in is causing kids to die from asthma in the Bronx at 3 times the rate that the rest of the country is impacted. We have forest fires in California. We have the global south that is particularly vulnerable, poor countries who are impacted by wealthy nations in the West. We have droughts where farmers cannot grow crops, so they cannot feed communities and countries, which is leading to mass migrations, which is leading to overpopulation and conflict. This is the moment that we are living in. It's a revolutionary moment. So we need brilliant minds and moral hearts, but we need revolutionary activism in your day-to-day lives. And this is what that entails. It entails holding people like me accountable, because we were voted in to be the decision makers and to do big revolutionary things as it relates to climate. But more than 50% of my colleagues in Washington are still denying that we are living in a climate catastrophe. Now, who is going to hold them accountable? It has to be you and young people like you all over the globe. It has to be your family. It has to be your friends. It has to be all of us. This is a moment for all of us to step up and lead toward transformational change. This is one of those moments in US history that are going to be written about for hundreds of years to come. We are in one of those moments right now. So yes, congratulations on your degree. But there is a lot more work to be done, and I'm excited about that work. I'm excited to be the first person of color in US history to represent this congressional seat. And I got here because climate change was at the top of my agenda, and I worked with climate grassroots activists all over the city and around the country. It was that level of organizing that got me here. I am now in Congress with other progressive lawmakers, many of you may know them as the Squad, who are there specifically to shake things up. And the reason why we need to shake it up, because the status quo, not only is it not working for most people, it is literally killing people. It is unjust and inhumane that if you are poor, black or brown, you are more likely to die from climate-related illnesses. That is unjust and inhumane, and it is unnecessary and unacceptable. We are the wealthiest nation in the history of the earth. We literally created the financial system, which is one of the reasons why we're one of the wealthiest nations in the history of the earth. But our choices to allow wealth and resources to be concentrated in the hands of a few while the majority of people suffer, our choices to build the Cross Bronx Expressway across the Bronx, destroying communities and flooding communities with dirty air. Our choices to not provide adequate housing to everyone in this country. Our choices to not have health care as a human right. Our choices to underfund schools in redline black and brown communities while schools in wealthier suburban communities get double the amount of money per student in those schools. These are choices. These are immoral choices rooted in the historic caste system that we are still living in. My challenge to you and to everyone listening is, what are we going to do individually and collectively to help America reach the promise and the ideals of our Constitution? That is our challenge. That is our question. And I'm excited because if I'm in Congress with others who are ready to shake things up, that means we are in a revolutionary moment to make this change. The fact that I am here is an example of that. The fact that the Squad is in Congress is an example of that. The fact that Columbia started this program is an example of that. But the fact that it's the only one and is only 2 years old is kind of crazy. Because, as you all know, big money controls politics. And the fossil fuel industry has a lot of money. And they knew decades ago what fossil fuels were doing to the climate. And they didn't care because they wanted to make a profit. Now it's time to push back. Now it's time to organize. And now it's time to defeat them once and for all. Are y'all ready? It's a blessing to be in partnership with you all in doing this work. I am an ally, I am a mentor, I am a co-conspirator. Whatever you need, I will be here for you, but I need you to be here for me and all of us as well. Because what's ahead of us is exciting, as that video just said. By 2040, where do we want to go? I know that together we are absolutely going to get there. Thank you all so much.
I'd like to thank my parents, Raul and Tina Weaver. My dad has always inspired me to learn about the environment, and from a really young age, like gardening and teaching me how to farm and start to think about the social and environmental issues. And my mom is my #1 cheerleader.
I know there's a lot of people I actually want to thank. My friends, my families, but the most like 2 people like on the top I want to thank is my parents. And I really appreciate they give me the chance to actually like encourage me to do what I want to do, no matter what their background is.
I'd like to thank my partner for always cheering me on and drying my tears when my code didn't work and just sticking by me through this whole journey.
I would love to thank the faculty here at the Climate School and at Columbia University. They've been super helpful. They've been great at answering my questions. They've taken their time to work with us, and they have so much patience and knowledge. And of course, I'd like to thank my family and friends for their support and helping me get to where I am today.
If I were to thank anyone, I think the first person to come to mind would be Helen Graytrex, who was a professor of mine in undergrad. She is the one who told me about this program, and I think she really gave me the direction to make sure I knew what to do with my interdisciplinary interests in climate and history and disasters.
I would like to thank my family and my friends, especially my mom, who actually did not go to college, and so it was really important for her that I went to Columbia University for undergrad and that I pursue a graduate degree. I'm so thankful for her and for my dad and my stepdad and the rest of my family.
I would definitely just like to thank, all of my professors and my supervisors were great mentors, and even a lot of my friends were just really incredible assets. We have such different backgrounds, and I was able to learn so much from them, and they were able to support me at different times.
So, now's the big moment. We're going to read out people's names, and people are going to come forward, and I'm going to shake people's hands and things like that. So, this is really exciting. To read the names of our graduates, we have Senior Director of Academic Initiatives, Natalie Unwin-Coroneri, and Career Development Officer, Gerald Contiango. So, give them a big round of applause. And just to make it clear, what tends to happen is people clap too much, and then by the end they run out of energy by the end of the year. So it's nicer if we can just hold all the clapping till the very end and then clap everybody. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So that way everyone can hear their name, everyone can hear the names, and let's hold the applause until all the students are called. Okay? Let's see if it works. Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean Halliday. I am thrilled and honored to present to you the class of 2023. Margot Alfare. Roxanne Alizad. Marie Allen. Jennifer Allen. Camilla Arzola.
Congratulations.
Abhinav Buntia. Haley Basuni. Patrick Beckley. Jad Ben Halam. Johan Lopez. Cameron Korgard. Olivia Cosillo. Siddharth Dasgupta. Aisha Datta. Eja Bilan. Emily Bosch. Gilier Lorenzo Senezal. Reagan Cersei. Ning Ding. Ariana Iupi. Chiamila Olubunkonla Enilama. Jesse Freeman. Brighton Go. Carl Greenfield. Sophie Habegger. Victoria Hamilton. Singyoung Jiang. Abby Jones. Jonah Kasdan. Molly Kimball. Maya Korb. Adrian Laforte. Ziyi Lei. Samuel Levine. Hannah Lynn. Iqbal Lisan. Dewey Leo. Kristen Lubowski. And I'll take a moment and turn it over to my colleague Gerald now.
Priya Mahadavan. Memo Martinez. Kieran McEnroe. Alexandra McGrath. Abigail Menendez. Rashawn Merchant. Georgia Monahan. Mihir Mukhtar. Jillian Nash. Morgan Nightingale. Joshua Nadif. Skylar Norse. Catherine Parker. Savannah Patino. Ali Pasego. Shani Peer. Benjamin Jared Panetta. Indre Rockefeller. Marifer Rodriguez. Olivia Sheehan. Wei Shen. Anna Sherman. Alon Seidel. Niklaus Smith. Olivia Jane Wellner Smith. Julie Souza. Saxon Stahl. Adam Stickney. Aaron Nathaniel Stockel. Juliet Tochterman. Japheth Tolson. Yes. Chan Yang Un. Yuking Wang. Emily Weaver. Stephen Yeager. Ling Chao Yer. Caitlin Zach.
Firstly, it's been amazing working with everyone in this program. Everyone's brought in their own unique perspective, and it's been so diverse that I feel like as much as I've learned a lot from the faculty and the staff and the program itself, I've learned equally as much from my peers.
I'm really inspired by my class. We have people from so many different backgrounds. I'm really excited to see what everyone ends up doing and the ways we're going to change the world.
Exciting to celebrate today, and I hope that we continue to celebrate these moments. We always have a home with each other.
I know that we're all going to do really big things, and I just can't wait to stay connected and just see where everybody goes. I know a lot of my friendships I'm going to keep holding on to for many years to come, and yeah, I'm just really excited to see how we all turn out.
For all the classmates, I hope we can stay in touch in the future and hope everyone can find their dream job in the future.
Keep doing what you have been doing, be confident in yourself, and I know there's still a long way to go, but just be patient. Believe what everything you have been paying for will work out in the future, no matter what the outcome is.
It was such a pleasure to work alongside all of you. I felt like I learned so much from each and every one of you, and you really transformed my experience at Columbia. Thank you all so much. I can't wait to see what you all do.
Don't forget about each other, we all went through this program together and we've made a lot of great connections and friends, and hopefully we can work together in the future and use each other as community and resources in whatever we choose to do. Stay in contact, and hopefully everyone can keep close.
So that was amazing. I think we get about, 8 out of 10 for the applause a bit earlier, but at the end it was spectacular. So fantastic job, well done. And I'd like to say, I think we should have one final big congratulations to the Columbia Climate School class of 2023. So I feel a bit like a priest saying the final words here. Go forth and change the world, okay? But first, let's make our way to Ansel Plaza for some refreshments. To avoid traffic jams, I know this sounds very parochial, please allow the graduates to exit the theater first. Guests and graduates can reconvene at the reception. Thank you all for being with us here today. It's been an amazing day and wonderful to see you all. Wonderful to see you all. And look forward to gathering informally and meeting each other a little bit better. Thank you very much.